Hello everyone, I'm Steph. Welcome to Harmonic Light Yoga. For today's class, we're going to start off in a seated position, so make your way down to the mat and find a comfortable seat. Could be cross-legged, could be sitting in hero's pose, lotus, half lotus, whatever's calling for you right now. And when you get here, close down your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. All too frequently, there are distractions in our lives pulling us into the future with worries about what might be, or into the past with ruminations on what was. Yoga gives us the beautiful opportunity to quiet the tendencies of the mind for a moment and bring our attention to the present moment. Focusing on and observing each inhale and exhale can be a great tool to bring you back to center. As you feel your rib cage expand on your inhale and settle a bit more deeply into your mat on your exhale, we can begin to invite some small movements. So beginning with just some rolls of the neck, right ear to right shoulder, perhaps up and backward, left ear to left shoulder, chin meets chest. Go through that as we inhale, as we rise our chin, and exhale as chin meets collarbones. Let's take that circle the other way. Beautiful. We're going to start gently waking up the body here. First by coming into Janu Shirshasana. So you want your right leg extended, left leg foot to thigh. Inhale here at center, grow tall along your spine. You're going to exhale, turn slightly over that extended right leg as you fold forward with a flat back. We don't need to take this too deep to begin with as our first real hamstring stretch of the day. Any of the poses that I suggest over our time together here is just that, a suggestion. So you know your body what better than I, so if that's not working for you, I'll offer some modifications or move intuitively as your body is calling. Think of maintaining a straight spine from tail to crown, and then hinging at the hips to fold over that extended right leg. Your next inhale can draw you up. And exhale, plant your left palm behind you. And you're going to come up onto your left knee and left palm into a modified half plank. As you inhale, sweep your right arm overhead. And then exhale back down into Janu Shirshasana. Let's kind of flow this out a couple times with our breath as we inhale, half plank on the left hand side. Exhale, Janu Shirshasana. And try to flow with this and make it as unified a movement with the breath as possible. We'll do two more on this side. Beautiful. Now we're gonna swap out those legs. So now left leg extends, right foot comes into left thigh. We'll inhale here in center. Exhale, turn slightly to have your torso squared over your extended left leg before you then descend down. So there's a slight twist involved here, just waking up the spine, waking up the hamstrings. Today's practice, we're going to focus mainly on the heart space, how we can grow broad across the collarbones, across our chest. And you can breathe deeply to access the deep channel of power that we have from within that heart space. One more deep inhale here. And then complete exhale. Your next inhale, rise up. Plant the palm behind you on exhale. And your next inhale will bring you into that half plank. Now on the right hand side with left arm overhead. Reaching through left fingertips as you inhale. And then folding down to Janu on your exhale. Really extending, shining that heart to the heavens on your inhale. And on your exhale, noticing the stretch across the back of your heart space between your shoulder blades. Oftentimes when we think of our heart space, our mind thinks of the front of the body, but it's just important to be cognizant of and to send breath to your back body as well, inviting activation of muscles that may sometimes be somewhat neglected. All right, one more this time. And then exhale, back to Janu Shirshasana. Beautiful. Now make your way to tabletop. And with knees wider than hips, toes touching, sink your hips back to child's pose. Forehead meets mat, palms reaching forward. And take a moment to gather. Notice what may be coming up for you today. And try as much as possible to stay present and stay here with our practice. Breathing into the back body, filling up that heart space. And softly letting go what does not serve you. Let an inhale pull you up to tabletop. As you curl your toes under, exhale back to downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal out your dog here. This may be our first downward dog of the day. You can first bend into right knee, straightening left leg, left heel down to mat. And then switch that out. Before we now meet in stillness. You can have a slight bend to your knees if that helps maintain a straight spine from tail to crown. And you want to think of actively pushing the mat down and away from you. Notice if your ribs have splayed out and invite your lower ribs to knit closer toward each other. One more deep inhale here. And exhale, move yourself to the top of your mat. You can step, hop, float. We'll meet in forward fold. And again, you can bring a generous bend into your knees here as we're waking the body up. Arms, fingertips can be on the mat. You can seek opposite elbows.
I like to interlace my hands behind the crown of my skull. Just provide some more weight, some more traction, allowing my spine to release into this gentle inversion. All right. Your next inhale, press palms into shins, shins into palms as you halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up, gaze up, palms meet overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Now you're going to inhale, arms up, reach, perhaps a slight back bend, inviting that heart space to shine open. And exhale, dive forward with a flat back. Again, feeling free to bend your knees slightly. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant hands, step back to plank. We're going to do a modified VIN in this class, so you can inhale in plank pose. Plant your knees and push back to child's on the exhale. Scoot forward on the inhale into a cobra, perhaps curling your toes up as well. And exhale, plant toes, push back into downward facing dog. So we're going to go for that gentler varietal throughout our course today, but if you would rather stick with the traditional vinyasa with the chaturanga and upward facing dog, the opportunity is yours. All right, we're going to start. Inhale, our right foot up. I want you to floint your toe here, so pointing your foot, but then flexing your toes back toward your body. We're keeping our hips squared to the earth here, so right toes pointed towards earth will help you maintain that kind of square structure of your hips. Inhale, reach through extended right toes. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhale up one last time. And exhale, step your right toes forward. Plant your left foot on the mat. As you inhale, rise to warrior one. So checking in with our warrior one here. Both feet are fully planted on the mat. Left foot is at a 45-degree angle towards the front left corner. Right knee stacked over right ankle. Is your hips square to the front of your space. With arms raised overhead and shoulders invited to come down away from your ears. Notice if your low ribs have splayed out. If so, invite them back toward each other with some gentle engagement of your core. Take a moment to notice sensation. Notice anywhere you're gripping that maybe you could offer some ease. Remembering to breathe deeply. As you inhale, gaze up, perhaps lift the corners of your mouth. Exhale, hands down and clasp behind your back. So interlace your fingers here as you roll your shoulders up, down, and back. Inhale, find some length. Shine that heart space towards the heavens. And then exhale with a flat back, down into humble warrior. So we're aiming for right shoulder inside of right knee. If you're struggling to maintain stability here, you can step your feet wider. There's supposed to be about a hip's distance width between your feet. And release your head. Give yourself another moment to enjoy this inversion. Noticing if your shoulders have rolled forward and trying to stay broad across your collarbones. Now you can step your left toes in a bit as you bring your focus to your right foot and inhale into a warrior three. You can keep your arms bound with me, or if you would rather take hands to heart center, it's another great option for you. Firing up through both legs is going to help you maintain some stability and some balance here. So even firing up in that lifted leg is if you were pushing into a back wall behind you. All right, one more inhale as we lift our arms, slowly step back into warrior one. And exhale, hands meet mat. We're going to go through that modified vinyasa again. So inhale to plank. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale into that kind of cobra, kind of scorpion. Exhale, curl your toes, back to downward dog. Take a moment here to breathe and notice sensation. What may feel different now from the moment you stepped on your mat. Breathing into that back heart space as we set up for the other side. Ready to now inhale your left toes high, again keeping hips squared down to the earth. So left toes pointed towards the earth or even over towards the right a bit can help achieve that. Right hip still tacking back, pressing evenly through left and right palms as you lift from the inner seam of that left thigh. Inhale, find length. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale up. And exhale, contract. Inhale, reach once more. Exhale, left foot steps forward, right foot plants. You inhale, rise to warrior one. So again, checking in with our alignment here. You want your feet about a hip distance apart. So think of feet on skis, not on a tightrope. That's going to help square your hips to the front of your space. You want to fire up the full cylinder of muscles in your right leg to help distribute the weight more evenly between front and back foot. Again, notice if your low ribs have splayed out, and if so, invite them towards each other. And inhale, look up, smile, breathe deeply. Maybe find something to be grateful for. It's so easy to focus on the things in our lives that are not going right. What a shift it might be for ourselves and for those we love if instead we shine a light on all the wonderful things that are going well and bring our focus there instead. Inhale, fingers shoot towards the sky. Smile to the heavens as you lower your arms on an exhale. Shoulders roll up, down, and back, finding some breath across that heart space. And then exhale, fold down into humble warrior. So again, your feet aren't on a tightrope here. They're about hips distance apart. Left shoulder inside left knee. releasing the weight of the head to give the neck and spine a bit of a break for a moment, allowing gravity to support that heavy, heavy crown. Remembering to breathe deeply and exhale completely. And when the moment calls you, you can bring some more weight, bring some more attention into your left foot as you lift right leg up into Warrior Three. Again, the option here to keep hands bound behind you or find heart center prayer. Bring a slight bend into your front knee as you inhale. Rise back to Warrior One. Exhale, hands to mat. Step back into Downward Facing Dog. And again, close your eyes down here. Take a moment to check in, notice sensation. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Look towards the top of your mat as you step, hop, float toward the front of your space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Palms meet overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Wonderful. Now we're going to inhale, arms up. Notice the width of your feet. You want them about hip distance or toes touching, heels slightly out. We're going to sit back into chair pose. So with your hips sinking low and your torso raising high, you're going to think of hips down, heart up, biceps beside ears while inviting your shoulders to relax down your back. Inhale, gaze up, smile. Exhale, straighten your legs as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step back to plank. We're going to do that modified VIN again, so inhale, plank. Exhale, child. Inhale into that and a modified cobra. And exhale, back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. All right, centering your right toes in the middle of your mat. Inhale, left toes high. And this time we are going to invite that hip to open. So left hip stacks over right. Left heel almost seeking right glute. As you then check back in with your palms and try to even the pressure between left and right palm. Tacking right hip back, left knee seeking the heavens. One more inhale as you reach up with that left knee. And exhale, knee to nose as you curl forward. Then plant your left foot. Pivot right foot down as you inhale into Warrior Two. So checking in with our alignment here in Warrior Two. You want left knee over left ankle. Straight right leg as your left heel intersects either the arch or the heel of that right foot. Arms opened to a T and your gaze out over your middle left finger. A tendency here can be for shoulders to ride up by your ears. Just notice if that's happening and invite some gentle relaxation.
Check in with your core and with your torso. Notice if you're leaning forward or pulling back. Try to square shoulders over hips. The tendency here is for that left knee to kind of hinge inward. We want to try to invite your left knee out towards the pinky toe edge of your left foot to really roll that femur bone open. One more deep inhale here. Exhale, flip your front palm, and then inhale. We're going to rise into upward warrior. So thinking more of an upward trajectory rather than back. You want to reach up with that left palm and act like you could, high five someone behind you. Checking in with the bend in your left knee, recommitting to that if it's straightened. Inhale, breathe. Shine that heart to the sky. And exhale, reach. Left fingers forward. Left elbow meets knee. Right arm comes overhead in extended side angle. Thinking of a straight line from right outer foot through right fingertips. As you really reach into those intercostal muscles between your ribs. Breathe deeply, fill up your heart space, feel your rib cage expand. And on an exhale, cartwheel that right arm back, down. Inhale to come up to star. So now both toes are parallel. So you inhale, find some space, find some joy, find some happy to breathe in. And you'll then interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll shoulders up, back and down. Inhale, find some space along the front of your spine. And exhale, hinge forward at your hips. Allowing the crown of your head to seek mat. Notice here if your shoulders have rolled forward and try to invite some more breath, some more distance between your collarbones. If the crown of your head easily meets the mat, you can shorten your stance here. And bring your hands to the small of your back to release that bind. So your hands come in front of your face and you inhale to a flat back. And exhale, fold again. I'm now going to take right fingertips over to left ankle. Inviting a bit of a twist of the spine. Perhaps getting more into your left hamstring. Inhale back to center. And we'll exhale left fingertips to right ankle. Breathing into those intercostal muscles. Feeling your ribcage expand. Trying to send breath into the back body. Your next inhale draws you forward to a flat back. Exhale, fold. With your hands on your hips and broad across your collarbones, you can inhale, rise up with a flat spine, and exhale. We're just going to pivot our right toes out and set up for warrior two on this side. So again, checking in with warrior two, right heel intersecting left arch or ankle, right knee over ankle. Firing up through the left leg is going to help you distribute weight through both of your feet. And we're sending energy out through our fingertips here, but we don't have to be completely stick straight. You don't want your shoulders riding up in your ears. Kind of invite a little bit of ease while holding these postures. One more deep inhale and a complete exhale. Flip your front palm and inhale. Right fingertips to the sky as left arm comes to left leg or circles for that right hip crease. Recommend to that bend in your front knee if you've lost it. And feel that elongated line from right hip crease through right fingertips. One more deep inhale. Exhale, reach your fingers forward. Right knee meets right elbow. Left arm extends overhead into extended side angle. Now thinking of straight line from left foot through left fingertips. You can inhale, breathe deeply, and exhale. You can take your palms down to the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high and heel meets left glute. Just to get into that open three-legged dog on our other side here. So pushing evenly between palms, right knee seeking heaven, heel seeking glute. Breathe deeply. And on an exhale, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the mat and come down into child's pose. Give yourself a few moments to breathe in child's pose, to absorb some of that prana, that energy that we have worked up. You're going to inhale to a tabletop. Exhale, curl toes, hips up, downward dog. You're going to inhale, right toes high. And draw your right knee forward behind right wrist. Right ankle behind left wrist. Setting up for pigeon pose here. So before we descend into a reclined pigeon, I want you to scissor your legs together and think of pulling your outer hips toward your midline. That's going to help you find a steady base, a steady foundation here. Also, it's going to be a lot safer on our joints, engaging some of these supportive muscles rather than just resting in our flexibility. Check back on your extended left foot. You want that foot to be a straight extension of your thigh and calf. You don't want the ankle to be sickling one way or the other. So just notice that foot in its direction. Again, squeezing outer hips together as you find length from tail to crown. And then with that straight spine, you can relax down to the mat in sleeping pigeon. So there's some options for you here. You can be up on your arms. You can rest on your forearms. If you're bringing torso down to mat, perhaps forehead to hands, try to keep in mind that straight spine from tail to crown. Maybe sacrificing some depth to recommit to that length of spine. Wherever you are, breathe deeply. And exhale completely. You can make your way back onto your palms as you curl under left toes. Step back to downward facing dog. And take a moment here to check in. Notice sensation. Notice what may feel different from left and right side bodies. Inhale, left toes high. Exhale, left knee behind left wrist, left ankle near right wrist. It doesn't need to be parallel to the top of your mat here. Again, think of pulling in from outer hips. Notice the direction of your back right ankle. Trying not to sickle one direction or the other. Again, first finding some length in your spine from tail to crown, before then descending into sleeping pigeon on this side. Noticing thoughts that may come up, and recognizing them before allowing them to drift by like ripples on a lake. All too frequently we identify with the thoughts that pop up in our head. And that can be a great source of anxiety, of frustration, of pain. How would it feel then to recognize thoughts as they arise, but not hold any attachment to them, to not identify with that constant narrative? Your next inhale, draw your palms under your shoulders. You'll just sit down onto that left hip, draw right leg around, and we'll set up for some final postures here. So we're going to take things down to the mat. So with your knees bent, spine straight, notice just how much space you have behind you, so that as you slowly and with control roll down onto your mat. Hopefully I spaced it right. Yeah, you got some space there. Excellent. All right. We're going to set up for bridge pose here. So either with heels, you want your heels about hip distance apart and close to your sits bones, so that if you reached, you could make contact with your heels from your fingers. Press the entirety of your spine into the mat, so kind of flattening out that curve in your low back. Just noticing how that tilt of your pelvis can either create a gap or can create a complete connection from spine to mat. With hands besides hips, palms down, I want you to inhale, lift your hips up into bridge pose. The tendency in bridge is for knees to splay open, so invite your knees to perhaps pull together or just aim straight forward. Really pushing down into your feet, lifting your glutes. Some of you may interlace fingers and walk your shoulders behind you. Feel into your heart space here. Feel into all of that new space, new fluidity that we've cultivated in our practice here together. And remembering to push into your feet, to squeeze your thighs together. While inhaling, maybe smiling. It's only yoga. Perhaps lift your hips a bit higher in your next inhale. And then you're going to release the bind if you had it. And roll slowly, one vertebra at a time, back down to the mat. Close your eyes and breathe. Notice sensation. And we're going to set up for another bridge, or if wheel is in your practice, you can place your palms facing in towards your body, right next to your ears. And this time as we inhale, we'll press into feet and palms. Up into wheel. Again, thinking of pulling those knees in if they've splayed out. Perhaps stepping your feet a bit closer to your body so that shoulders can stack over wrists. Only taking this pose as far as you can still breathe. And then gently lowering when the mat calls you. All right, take a moment to draw your knees into your chest. Maybe nose towards knees. And keeping your knees in, arms coming wide or to a cactus. I want you to inhale here. And exhale, drop knees to the right, gaze to the left. And this gentle supine twist. Thanking yourself, thanking your body for taking you through this journey today and every day. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, knees to the left, gaze to the right. Practicing some gratitude. It's one of the most powerful sentiments that we can embody, that we can practice, that has a direct impact on how we perceive the world around us. Inhale, knees into chest. If any final postures are calling you, perhaps legs up the wall, perhaps a plow, maybe a little happy baby. Take a moment to enjoy that last bit of movement before we all meet in Shavasana. In Shavasana, lying on our backs on the floor with feet extended, palms face up. Perhaps moving your shoulders under your body. Any last final adjustments or movements can be made now. Before we rest. Shavasana is the pose that allows us to absorb all of the benefits, all of the prana and the energy that we've worked up throughout our practice. It's a time when we're able to sit back and observe and maybe find some separation between our consciousness and our thinking, speaking mind. How might it feel to identify with that observer rather than the speaker? To be the witness rather than the protagonist. Inhale deeply, feeling your breath rise from soles of feet to crown of head. And exhale from crown back to feet. Inhale, soles to crown, fill your body up. And exhale, find something to let go. Know that this space of calm, of inner silence, is always here whenever you may need it. We practice yoga as a means to connect with this calm within, with the lake of our minds, stilling like the surface of a mirror. Feel free to stay in Shavasana, or if it calls you, you can begin to introduce some deeper breaths. And begin to tune back into the world around you, noticing sensations, noises. Your next inhale can bring some movement into fingers and toes. As you then extend arms overhead, reach into a good morning stretch. You can bend your knees and draw knees into chest on an exhale as you roll to whichever side is calling you. Taking a moment to rest in a fetal position on your side to help you reconnect and go from that Shavasana corpse pose into the beautiful process of rebirth and reawakening into this life. Move into a seated position with eyes soft or closed. And feel shoulders stack over hips, tall spine. You can inhale, hands to heart center as you thank yourself for spending some time on yourself today. perhaps allowing some peace and some calm. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. We're going to inhale to the sound of one Om. Inhale in. Hands to eyebrow center as you bow your head to the wisdom and the teacher within. The light in me recognizes and is thankful for the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.